to talk about the mind-gut connection and the microbiome. Can you walk us through what the microbiome is and then why the gut-mind connection is so important?
Great. So let's start with a simple thing. If you have a headache, you might take a Tylenol, you might take a Motrin, you swallow it, you drink some water. What happens? Maybe 10 minutes, a half hour, headache goes away. But think about that for a second. You're swallowing it, it's going to your digestive tract, to your gut, but it's impacting largely the headache, which is, located in your brain. So when we think about it, the newest science of the gut microbiome and the connections and, we'll unpack this together, is newer science over the last couple of decades. Although Hippocrates spoke to it eons ago, the science had to follow, the research had to follow. But that gut-brain connection actually unfolds the food-mood connection because the gut and brain are separate parts of the body, but they arise from the exact same cells in the human embryo. They divide up apart and they're different locations. Then they're connected by the 10th cranial nerve, which is the vagus nerve. And that acts like a chemical messaging system, like a two-way superhighway, allowing for messages to be transmitted all the time, up and down. So if you think about that and then realize that 90% or more of the serotonin receptors and serotonin itself made in the gut, interacting with those microbes, you start to realize and put the pictures together around a few things. If someone has ever taken a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, an SSRI like Prozac or Zoloft, they often experience gastrointestinal discomfort. And now we understand why. Another important thing in these times to understand, because the gut is so powerful, is that 70% of the immune system is there. How you eat is affecting your immunity as well. So putting these different pieces together, you start to understand that the connection is there. Just like that pill you took for a headache and that's being broken down in the gut, so is the food. And when the food reaches the gut, you have 39 odd trillion bacteria that live there. But there are 5 different types, not just bacteria, 5 types, but the bacteria are the most studied. And on a day that you're eating the healthier meal, the good microbes thrive. They're being fed fiber from veggies and fruit and beans, nuts, seeds, and legumes, and they thrive and they do well and they can do their job. On a day that you're going to the fast food lane and you're having the milkshakes and French fries and kind of the more fast food, the bad microbes thrive because they love all those ingredients that we've usually thought are only related to our waistlines, but those foods are also affecting our brain and our mind. But those bad microbes thrive. They start to set up the gut for inflammation and imbalance, and they start to damage the breakdown products of those foods, start to damage the single cell gut lining, which is very delicate. And over time, it gets to form conditions like leaky gut. And that inflammation is very, very much a factor that has been researched to underlie conditions like depression, anxiety, cognitive disorders, and more. So inflammation is really now a part of the newer thinking in how these conditions arise. That's a long explanation, but an unpacking of where the science is at with trying to understand that gut-brain connection.